Hi everyone, welcome back to Math Specs. My name is Stephanie, and today we're going to learn how to use multiplication and division in order to solve equations. So first, we're going to recall inverse operations. Inverse operations are two operations that undo each other. And last time we learned that addition and subtraction were inverse operations, and that multiplication and division were also inverse operations. And the reason they are inverse operations is because, like we mentioned, they undo each other. So when we are solving our equations, we're going to use multiplication and division to isolate the variable onto one side. So in the end, we want our variable to be here by itself, and we want some kind of number on this side, okay? And that is basically our goal. So let's go ahead and do some examples. Here we have 4x is equal to 16, and we're asked to solve. So first, we're going to identify the operation that is put on the variable, and then decide what would be the appropriate inverse operation. So here we have 4x, so 4 times x. So this operation is multiplication. And in order to undo multiplication, we have to divide. So instead of multiplying by 4, I'm going to divide by 4. And remember, if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. We want to keep things balanced. So these 4s are going to cancel, and I'm going to bring down my x, my equal sign, and then we have this left over. So what is 16 divided by 4? That is going to be 4, and this is our solution. Pretty easy. Let's go ahead and continue to the next example. Here we have y divided by 5 is equal to -3. So here our variable y is being divided by 5. So how do we undo division? We multiply. So I'm going to multiply 5 to both sides, and this will cause these 5s to cancel because they'll just divide to be 1. Then I can bring down my y, my equal sign, and whatever I have on the right-hand side. So I have -3 times 5. This will give me -15. And that is my solution for this equation. Let's go ahead and do another one. This one's pretty similar, like the one we just did right before. X divided by 3 is equal to 12. Here, x is being divided by 3. So instead of dividing, we need to multiply to get rid of this 3 and get our variable by itself. And remember, we have to do it to both sides. These 3's will divide to be 1. Then I can bring down my x and whatever is on the right-hand side. So x is equal to 12 times 3. They're both positive, so my answer is going to be positive 36. Okay, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This is good practice. Here we have -2x is equal to -6. So here I have -2 being multiplied to this x. And how do we get rid of multiplication, or how do we undo it? We divide. So instead of multiplying by -2, I'm going to divide by -2. And of course, I'm going to do it to both sides. So we want to keep it balanced. Then these -2's will cancel. I can bring down my variable x, my equal sign, and -6 divided by 2, which is what I have on my right-hand side. So this will give me +3. Okay, let's go to an example that actually requires us to use what we learned in the last video. Here we have -6m plus 6 is equal to 12. So we remember, our approach is the same. We want m, our variable this time, to be by itself. This time, though, we have some addition. We have a +6 being added on top of this multiplication of -6. So I'm actually going to start by moving this 6 over to the right-hand side. And because it's being added, I need to undo that addition. So I'm going to use subtraction. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Remember, wanting to keep everything balanced. These will equal 0. Then I can bring down my -6m, my equal sign, and whatever I have on the right-hand side. Remember, we're subtracting, so order does matter. So now I'm going to take care of this with 12 minus 6 is going to be 6. Now I have -6m is equal to 6. So I have that -6 being multiplied to this m. So in order to get rid of it, I do need to divide by -6 to both sides. Okay, and that will cause these -6 to cancel. I can bring down my m, it's by itself now, and I can perform this division. I have 6 divided by -6, and that will give me -1. And that is my solution for this equation. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. If you practice it, it should come fairly easy to you, and then you can do far more challenging examples. This is just a basic introduction to kind of get you used to using all of the skills. But as you'll see later on, we'll do more challenging examples. In this example, we're asked to solve 3/4 x is equal to 12. And here, what I'm going to do, because this 3/4 is being multiplied to this x, I am going to multiply by 4. Since 4 is being, I guess you can see it like this. This is how I see it. I see 3x over 4 is equal to 12. That's how I see it, right? A lot of people like to do this in one step. They like to multiply by the reciprocal. Because essentially you're doing the same thing. You're just doing everything in one step. So they will multiply 4/3 times 3/4. Why? Because you can see it like this. 3 times x, this is multiplication. So in order to undo this multiplication, you divide by 3. And then they see it as a division by 4. So x is being divided by 4. So in order to undo that division, you multiply by 4. And then your 4's here at the, let me use a red color. This 4 will cancel with this 4. And then this 3 at the bottom will cancel with this 3. Okay, and you can do it all in one step, or you could do it step by step, whichever one you prefer. Then x, and remember I have to do it to both sides. So I have to multiply 4/3 to this side as well. So then I can bring down my variable, and then 12 times 4/3. So remember, when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. So we have 48 divided by 3, and this should be 16. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue to the next example. Here we have 2/7 y is equal to -2. So what I'm going to do is actually show you step by step. So what I'm going to do is, because 7 is in the denominator, is being divided, I'm going to multiply by 7 to both sides and multiply 7 on this side. Then the 7 and the 7 will cancel on the left-hand side. And I can bring down my 2y, and then -2 times 7. So I'm going to take care of this. So -2 times 7 is going to be -14. Then this 2y is being multiplied with y. So I'm going to undo this with division to both sides. These 2's will cancel on the left-hand side. I can bring down my variable now by itself, and -14 divided by 2, this is going to be -7. Okay. You could also do this, as we mentioned, if we have 2/7 y is equal to -2, you can do this all in one step by multiplying by the reciprocal on both sides. And it would give you the same answer. So you would cancel the 7's, cancel the 2, and you can bring down y by itself, -2 times 7/2, and can do a handy trick here. Since I have -2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, then I'm left with -7 as my answer, which is what we got in the previous example, the previous method. Okay, so a lot of different ways to do this depending on your level of comfort with reciprocals and fractions. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. Here we have b divided by -3 is equal to -2. And we want to solve for b. So here -3 is being divided. So I am going to undo this division with multiplication. I'm going to do it to both sides. These -3's will cancel. I can bring down my variable by itself, and whatever I have on the right-hand side, have -2 times -3. This is going to give me +6. And just like that, we've done so many examples. I hope that it is making sense and that you're getting a lot of good practice from this. So we've reached the end of our presentation, and today we learned how to solve equations using multiplication and division. And we used an emphasis on multiplying by reciprocal to solve equations as well as step by step. So thank you so much for your time and attention, and we will see each other in the next video.